F-150 Superstore.
This is Steve Moulton from 97.7 ESPN The Zone, and this is What's Happening. Be sure and download our app. Just search 977 ESPN in your Google Marketplace or your Apple Store, depending on your device, so you can take us wherever you might go. And you can also check out our latest zone deals. Head over to our website, 977ESPN.com. The top left banner reads, "Savings never tasted so good." Click on that, then enter in the big zone deals store for half-off zone deals of Lawler's Barbecue, Sea Salt, Carrabba's Italian Grill, Bubby's Diner, Corlejos Mexican Grill, Bad Daddy's Burger Bar, Divergence, Full Moon Barbecue, Bigfoot Little Donuts, Hickory Store Barbecue, Good Company Cafe, Apple Lane Farms, the Decatur location, and rounds of golf at Cherokee Ridge Golf Course and Gunter's Landing. And that's what's happening.
Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Welcome in. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Joe, we got a little bit of echo go. There we go. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. Welcome in on a Friday morning. Oh, the smell of bacon. If you smell the bacon, and if I am telling you, you can smell the bacon, that means we are at one place and one place only. Metro Diner along Highway 72 here in Madison. Oh, my goodness. Their doors are just opened, and they're ready to go. They're ready to serve you for breakfast. It's smelling phenomenal. They are part of our zone deals right now. So if you head to zonedeals.bigdealsmedia.net, you can get $25. Well, you spend $25, and you're going to get $50 worth of food to Metro Diner here. And you can also use it, the one on Airport Drive, or Airport Road in Huntsville. But it's Metro Diner, and the breakfast is phenomenal. We'll go over some of the new menu items here in just a little bit. But, of course, we're kicking off the show courtesy of Talent Heating and Air. Let their talent work for you, 256-503-4490. Make sure you give our good friends Thomas, Terry, and Jeremy a call today. Give them a call, 256-503-4490. Yes, it's springtime, and your air condition may need to be fixed as you get ready for spring. I know we had a little cold spell last night, a little frost on the cars, but we are getting ready, and you may need those air-conditioned service. So give them a call today, or you can find them on talenthvac.com. It's Talent Heating and Air. Let them put their talent to work for you. They are the proud sponsors of the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bracket Challenge. Now, Metro Diner is also helping you bring all that beautiful basketball action you heard yesterday over the airways of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Yeah, that's right, Metro Diner helping you bring that. They are serving you up some basketball. They're also serving you up some bacon, some pancakes, some omelets, some French toast, some waffles, you name it. Get on out here to Metro Diner, and they can take care of all your breakfast needs, lunch needs, dinner needs. They can handle it. As far as yesterday goes, let's start with some of your action, and let's start with the Auburn Tigers. Things started off slow for Auburn against Alabama State, especially in the first half. Auburn didn't look very sharp about midway through that first half. It was kind of like you felt early on that if Auburn put their foot down on the gas, they could run away with this thing against Alabama State pretty easily. Alabama State didn't make it a game in the first half. Auburn led 41-31. They led by 10 at the break. But at one point, this was a one-point game. Alabama State had the basketball with a chance to take the lead. Jonai Broome just, you felt like watching that game yesterday that if he really wanted to take the game over, he could. But he was kind of like hesitant at times and just kind of got outplayed. The second half, Auburn looked a lot more focused, a lot more intent, a lot more like, hey, we're going to take this ball game over and we're going to win it. One of the things that Auburn has to get better at is free throws. And Bruce Pearl alluded to that in his postgame.
Better. We missed 14 free throws. We made 18, and that's going to catch us in a close game. These next games got a chance to be closer, so we got to, sharpen up in that area. And that's part of that is valuing possessions. And if there's one thing I can get my guys from this point forward to lock into right now, did we value every possession on the defensive end? Did we value it on the offensive end, scoring through contact, or we just rely on the whistle? And then would we finish plays? And that's the biggest difference right now between the way we were playing earlier in the season and the way we're playing right now. And you can do that against a team that you're better than, but you can't do that. We won't be able to do that from this point forward.
Yeah, and he mentioned value the possessions, and at times you could see Auburn yesterday. In the second half, I think they valued the possessions a little bit better. In the first half, you got a sense that they just weren't like, I don't know. It is kind of sleepwalking a little bit, I think, in the first half.
Well, they let Alabama State hang around for, for really the first 15 minutes or so, and they were within 1 point. I think it was 28-27, then it was 29-27, and then Auburn kind of methodically pulled away to a 41-31 halftime lead. Miles Kelly, I thought, was really good in the first half. His shot-making ability. Jonai Broome got off to a little bit of a slow start. He was struggling a little bit to score the ball. But I thought overall that Auburn just kind of ratcheted up the intensity in the second half.
Yes.
And again, in the NCAA tournament, it's totally a different deal. Sometimes there can be some anxiety when you understand that you win or go home, and so we'll see. But I thought that Auburn settled down in the second half, and once they finished the last 5 minutes or so of the first half to build that 10-point lead, then they came out the first 5 minutes of the second half and extended it a little bit. Everybody was able to relax. I know Bruce Pearl didn't think they played as well as even if they did against Yale a year ago when they lost. And, I mean, there's a lot of truth to that because Yale's a higher quality opponent. But I thought Auburn did the job they needed to do. Sometimes the first game can be the most difficult. During Auburn's Final Four run against Chris Jans in New Mexico State, so only some missed free throws allowed Auburn to, Bruce Pearl just mentioned, allowed Auburn to get out of round one in the round of 64. But then they used that to go on a 4-game run, beating blue bloods like Kansas, Kentucky, and North Carolina to get to the first Final Four in Tiger history. So these tournaments have peaks and valleys, and I just thought that there was no panic from Auburn.
Right.
And I thought
you didn't get a sense that they were in trouble.
No.
You just got a sense that they just needed to, I don't want to say flip the switch, but they needed to just value a little bit more, put their foot down and say, we are the better team, and just put it away.
Yeah, and I thought they did that, within that 10-minute stretch, 5 minutes left in the first half, the first 5 minutes of the second, and then you have a margin to operate. And Alabama State made some shots early, to their credit, and Tony Madlock, they did a really nice job staying in it, but they did not continue to make those shots. And a lot of times when you've seen the Fairleigh Dickinsons of the world and the UMBCs, that's the only 2 times a 16's beat a 1. They've made shots. They've continued to make shots. And in both of those cases played out in front for the majority of the game. And so this time, even though Auburn let Alabama State hang around for the first 15 minutes or so, they still played from out front, and they were able to just methodically pull away and get the win.
The one thing Bruce Pearl, and you heard him just mention it, was the free throw shooting. Auburn was 18 of 32 from the charity stripe, 56%. That is not going to get it done throughout the tournament. You're not going to be able to shoot 56%. You're not. If you go to the line 32 times, you've got to make more than 18.
Yeah, no question about it. You have to do the little things right. That's what Alabama's going to have to do today against Robert Morris. They've got to block out. They've got to rebound. They've got to take care of the ball, and you have to make free throws. I mean, if you don't, Drake was very lucky last night to survive against Missouri. I've never seen so many bricks. I think they built like an entire condo complex with all the bricks from the free throw line. And really it surprised me because Drake's a really good defensive team, and you would think they would be a really good fundamental basketball team, but they could not make free throws, and that's why they allowed Missouri to hang around. Missouri, I think the closest Mizzou got was within 2 in the second half. But
to your point, Drake was 12 of 24 from the free throw line. Missouri was 23 of 26 from the free throw line. The difference in that ball game was your field goal percentage and your 3-point percentage. Missouri only shot 33% from the game, 25% from behind the arc, whereas Drake was above 50% from both. They were 54% from the game, 50% from behind the arc. So while they didn't shoot the ball well from the free throw line, they made up for it from the field, whereas Missouri struggled from the field. Drake, though, a 10-point winner in that one, 67-57 over Missouri. So, Drew, Auburn does get a win yesterday. Tennessee gets a win yesterday. But Texas loses in the opening 4. Missouri loses yesterday. Georgia posted an L yesterday. But Arkansas, Tennessee, and Auburn all notch wins yesterday. Arkansas, a 79-72 winner over Kansas. Kansas, by the way, becomes the second AP preseason number 1 team to lose in the NCAA tournament in the round of 64. They joined themselves, by the way.
I was going to say
in 2005
Kansas.
Yeah, so they're in company of their own. But the SEC right now, you could say, I don't know, Arkansas and Kansas, that was one of those toss-up games because of how both of them have been playing all year. Other than that, thoughts on the SEC so far?
Good. I thought they played well. I didn't think Georgia was going to beat Gonzaga anyway. When you can't shoot the basketball, you're not going to beat anybody. And they couldn't throw it in the ocean if their life depended on it. So I knew they were going to get their ass beat, and they certainly did. So no surprise there. A little disappointed in Missouri. I had Missouri making a Sweet 16 run, but I also knew that Drake was one of the tougher matchups for the SEC in the first round. A lot of credit to the Drake Bulldogs. They're a really good team. Yeah, Ben McCollum probably going to go to Iowa.
And his little point guard, Sturts.
Yeah, Sturts. Was a Division II player because people can't evaluate talent. And, again, I think overall it was a good run, though, so far. Texas, I had them beating Xavier, but then losing the next game. And they really should have probably beaten Xavier, but Rodney Terry can't coach. That's why he got fired. So, again, I didn't expect Texas to do a lot of damage. Did not expect Georgia to win at all. Probably the only disappointment so far is Missouri, who I thought had a chance to make a run, but they also had one of the tougher matchups. And we do know one thing unequivocally, Scott, that the ACC sucks.
So the ACC yesterday.
Remember, Louisville was at home, and that was going to be a really tough matchup for the Auburn Tigers potentially. That's all we heard for 4 or 5 days. And then people didn't understand that Louisville couldn't guard a lamppost. And basically what happened is exactly what I predicted would happen. Creighton crushed them. And it wasn't really even a game the entire way.
Yeah, it started off Louisville. The first 5 minutes of that game, Louisville was in it. The first 5 minutes after that, it was
everybody went to get a beer, and then it was over.
It was a gigantic snowball going downhill. And Creighton, I tell you what, I did not realize we always talk about guys that have been on a team for a long time,
right?
And Kalkbrenner seems like he has been at Creighton for 30 years.
Yeah, 4-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East, a really good player. And Creighton had really good guard play. And again, Pat Kelsey did a remarkable job at Louisville in 1 year.
No, he did.
To get them to, the top 3 in the ACC and get them back in the NCAA tournament and to get them an 8 seed. But everybody kept saying they were underseeded. But here's the deal. Kelsey plays a wide open style. They don't play a lot of defense at times. He didn't have much of a post presence. And the thing that I've noticed about Creighton is Greg McDermott, to his credit, again, they have Kalkbrenner, they have rim protection, but he always has good guard play, and they can play fast or slow. They'd rather slow it down a little bit and play at a slower pace than a team like Louisville. And I just thought, and Louisville was sloppy with the basketball. They turned it over a lot. They gave Creighton, opportunities. And Creighton's always what I would call sneaky athletic. They're more athletic than you think they are. Right. They turn out pros. They've had McDermott's during his long run as Creighton coach, including his son. They've always done well, and they finished second in the Big East, which is a good basketball league. So I just felt like that was even though it was in Lexington, 45 minutes from home. I just felt, like that's still a bad matchup for Louisville. And then, of course, we Clemson, Clark Kellogg's bracket is absolutely finished because he had Clemson in the national championship game.
I tell you, it's all about fits, though. Remember, Greg McDermott could not win a basketball game to save his life at Iowa State when he was the head coach.
He left before he got fired there.
It was a disastrous situation when he was in Ames. I mean, disaster.
But he was really good at Northern Iowa.
He was great at Northern Iowa. Disastrous at Iowa State. Mm-hmm. And he's refound that magic now at Clemson. They were number 2 in the Big East. Think about that. That just tells you the separation between Duke and the rest of the ACC.
Well, that's what it did for me. I mean,
because they were number 2 in the ACC, or 3 in the ACC was Louisville. That's the separation.
And I erroneously told our listeners at the end of the show yesterday that I picked Kansas. Thank God I didn't. I picked Arkansas, and then I did figure out that I had picked Western Union to beat Clemson. Now, Western Union tried to choke away a 22-point lead in 7 minutes.
Yes, they did. They did.
And they played too loose. I mean, you're talking about being up like 7-8 points with a minute and a half to go, Scott, and these guys are jacking threes, early in the shot clock instead of trying to run clock and things of that nature. And then they're attacking the rim. Thank the Lord they were finishing and not missing dunks and layups because, it could have been a disaster because they only won by 2. Because to Clemson's credit, and when you're down 22 with 7+ minutes to go, Brad Brownell's crew kept fighting, made some big time threes, and came back and made a game out of it. I mean, McNeese had to finish the game, but they got their first ever SEC win, or NCAA tournament win for the Cowboys, and now Western Union's legacy is complete. I mean, I think they'll probably get blown out in the round of 32. The way he was jumping up and down and fake celebrating after they won that game, and I did think it was contrived and over the top. I mean, I think he was just basically trying to say, I got you guys a win. Now I need to be on a flight to Raleigh.
Right.
But I mean, we'll see. I mean, maybe they can get another dub and get to the next weekend. And they're very athletic. But I just, I felt like Clemson, when you were watching that game, Clemson looked like they were stuck in the mud. They just weren't athletic enough to play with McNeese. It was another matchup that I think wasn't conducive for Brad Brownell and stuff. I think they would have been better off if they had played somebody like Yale in the first round, but they did not. They got McNeese State, and McNeese gets their first win in the NCAA's history. And credit to them, credit to Will Wade, and I'm sure it excited the NC State fans.
All right, we got to get a break in. Our first one of the morning. We are live from Metro Diner. The bacon is cooking. Oh, it smells fantastic. We'll let you know what some of the new menu items are here. We'll talk some more college basketball live from Metro Diner next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
One injury wreck. This one's in Limestone County. Nick Davis and Menifee. They called for EMS there. That one originally went out as a no injury. Everything else is in good shape this morning. I don't see any other problems. You be careful on your trip in. Maybe we can keep it that way. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
Hey there, Bob Baumhauer again. March Madness is here, and it's time to hoop it up at Baumhauer's Victory Grill with our Slam Dunk specials. It's nothing but net with a pound of our world-famous wings. Tip it off with our party-ready trays, including traditional wings, buttermilk fried chicken tenders, and hot lips, to name a few. Want a cold beer with those wings? How about $7.99 pitchers of Yingling served all day? 7 days a week. Break out those brackets and bring the gang to the best watch party place in town. Baumhauer's Victory Grill, the true king of wings.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time, or even showing at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto of Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide reliable customer service through using their roofing, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs: residential, commercial, industrial, basement repairs. We're ready for you need a quick response. Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Hey, do you have heating and air issues as the springtime starts to roll around? Hey, there's just one name you need to know: Talent Heating and Air. #1 heating and air business right here in the Tennessee Valley.
Yeah, we're locally based. If you call, you're going to get somebody based in Huntsville. Mentioned in spring earlier, we can actually do indoor air quality products, so we can help alleviate those allergy problems you're having in your house.
All right, Thomas from Talent Heating and Air, give them the number that when they call, somebody live and local will pick up.
That's 256-503-4490.
And you can always head to the World Wide Web and find Talent Heating and Air, and you guys will still respond.
That's talenthvac.com. If you don't want to talk to a person right away, you can fill out a form on there and get scheduled for a visit.
That's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. It's Talent Heating and Air.
AL certain number 21014.
Plotter on the move, pitch on the way. This is stroked high in the air, deep right center field. Here comes some smoke. Wow! 2-0 Atlanta.
Listen to Atlanta Braves baseball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
$7:22 on a Friday morning. It's Talking Ball. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Scott Theisen, Drew DeArmond. We are hanging out at one of our favorite spots of all time, Metro Diner along Highway 72 here in Madison. The bacon is on the grill. The hash browns are cooking. Oh, the waffles and the pancakes. Tell you what, we always run down what's kind of new here right now.
Yeah.
How about this? You can get a carrot. I had to take a picture of it so I didn't have to turn my head.
Right.
You get a carrot cake griddle.
Interesting.
Okay, your choice of a short stack of pancakes or a Belgian waffle infused with carrot cake, topped with cream cheese icing, cinnamon butter, candied pecans, and powdered sugar.
Interesting. So that is the new addition. When they do these griddles, they always do them in either waffle form or
pancake.
in the
Your choice.
yeah.
Or you can get some baby back ribs.
Oh, ribs, huh?
Uh-huh.
Nice.
Fried shrimp platter.
Mm-hmm.
That's some of the new stuff right now.
Right.
But then you got your traditional favorites. You can get the fried chicken and waffles with the strawberry butter.
Yeah, that's good.
Hash browns extra crispy, Western omelet, 2 pancakes on a plate. No toast, no biscuit.
Are you just giving everybody your order, Scott?
Yes, I am.
That's pretty much
Yes,
what you're doing.
I
That's what
am.
it sounded like to me.
Well, it's available, though.
It is.
It's available
But, I mean,
to eat, but that is
when you
my
started
order.
checking off the list and the Western omelet and everything else, I was like, Scott, I think that's just your order.
It is Bama Bino hanging out with us on a Friday morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir. What's up, Bama Bino? How are you, man? We're good. How are you doing, bud?
Talking about all that food, that sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, it is good. And
Scott gave you the rundown.
make no doubt about it. It's you're going to get some good food. Now, Drew's had the what did you have? The French toast. What kind of French toast is
It's
that?
a croissant French toast. It's
Yes.
really good. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, we can all just have a breakfast fast together, couldn't we?
Yeah.
Give me an update on Grant Nelson's severity of injury, if we play a couple more games, is he going to be able to contribute?
He will. My suspicions are, and I mean, there was video taken of him going into the locker room yesterday with a sleeve on his shin, but I just think it wasn't pulled all the way up. It's a knee situation. I don't know if it's a meniscus. I don't exactly know what the injury is, but I do know that they are very fortunate. When it first happened, I think they were very, very worried that he was going to be out for the rest of the season, but it ended up not being, luckily that serious. He's going to be able to play. Now, my suspicions are, if I had to be a betting man, just checking with some people yesterday, that he will not play today. I think they're going to try to get through the game with Robert Morris without Grant Nelson, and then hopefully have him. The target is for Sunday for game 2 in the winter of St. Mary's and Vanderbilt. But Bama Bino, I would venture to say he may even warm up, but probably not going to see Grant Nelson today. And Alabama going to continue to try to rehab him and target to potentially get him on the court on Sunday.
Yeah. I'm sure Coach Oaks knows what he's doing, and I'm sure he'll do the right thing. I know if it was me, I'd just kind of let him heal it all if we could till we had to have him just where he could be 100% or close to it for when we get into the grind of things to real tough games. What do you think? What's the outlook? What is your? I mean, we shouldn't have a problem with Banfield. I mean, we got some athletes. We get under the goal, short shots where they should use the glass. Is what worries me. If you hit your free throws and do those two things, Alabama would be undefeated.
Well, but Bama Bino, okay, we just got to, if you're an Alabama fan, worry about one game at a time.
Mm-hmm.
You should get by Vanderbilt, but like yesterday, we've seen a lot of these teams push these upper seeds.
Right.
Robert Morris, Alabama is a better team than Robert Morris. Alabama has more talent than Robert Morris. But you got to go out and you got to put your foot down, and you can't let Robert Morris hang around today. I mean, that should be the focus today.
Yeah, it's kind of what we were talking about with Auburn, Bama Bino.
Yes.
I mean, because I thought yesterday, Miles Kelly, he loves to shoot in Rep Arena. So he came out and made shots and kind of calmed everybody down. I thought Chaney Johnson was good. He played well. Broom, the key in the second half for them to really put it away, though, is Broom played much better. And then after a very rough start, I thought Todd Pettiford picked it up in the second half because he had basically had 1.5 poor games, which is unusual because he's one of the best freshmen in the country. He didn't play well at all against Tennessee in the SEC tournament when they got beat in the semis. And then for the first half, I didn't think he was very good against Alabama State, but he snapped out of it. And ended up in double digits, I believe, with 16. And so Auburn was able to have a balanced score sheet and then and pull away from Alabama State. And the same thing needs to happen for the Crimson Tide against Robert Morris. They need to rebound the basketball. They need to take care of it. And then, and I think they just need to attack Robert Morris, and they need to jump on them. And if they do that, even without Grant Nelson, I think they're capable of it because, again, Alabama's had guys banged up this year. They beat LSU. LSU wasn't very good, but Sears did not play the entire second half due to being benched, and they've been without Latrell Wrightsell now for a long time. He got hurt and they adjusted. So they've had guys in and out of the lineup. They've had a lot of injuries this year. Grant Nelson's been banged up and it has been limited at times. So they've had to, do without some guys in the lineup and overcome. And they didn't have Chris Youngboy until mid-December. So they've been without some key pieces. And they should have had several days of prep knowing Grant wasn't going to be there, so they should be ready to go.
Bambino, thanks for the phone call, bud. Hate to do it to you, but we're going to cut you off there. I want to get to B. Rich before the break real fast. Good morning, B. Rich.
What's up, B. Rich?
Good morning, fellas. I'd like to briefly pause the March Madness to just let everybody know that the greatest team in college baseball history went down last night in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, at the hands of one Zane Adams. I'm so proud. I'm not the biggest guy on sportsmanship, but I am a huge believer in karma. And when you have a team that acts the way that their manager, puts this big front out there and cocky and arrogant, you got to pay the piper. And so when Liam Doyle, a.k.a. the second coming of Clayton Kershaw, gives up 6 runs and gets tattooed for a 5 spot, you just gotta take that beat down. It's game 1. They ain't gonna get the sweep. I can promise you that. So we'll see what happens. But in the middle of all the March Madness, I did want to throw that out there.
Well, it was a great crowd, looked like in Tuscaloosa last night. And from what I understand, the game on Saturday, which will be game 3, this series is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It is sold out. And it should be a good crowd over there. Riley Quick will be on the bump for Alabama tonight. And it's also amazing that once pitchers can't go to their mouth and lick their fingers, that all of a sudden they give up 5 runs in an inning, be rich.
4,341, the announced attendance there last night.
Umpire last night, his zone, and I will say it was both ways. He was so inconsistent, but it's going to be a monster series. The only thing that I was a little disappointed about was that East Tennessee beat them the other day and ruined their perfect record. I wanted Alabama to hand them their first loss, and I do anticipate that it's going to be a great rest of the series, but they damn sure ain't going to get the sweep. I can promise you that. And I do feel really confident with Riley Quick going. If they can get this series, I'm looking forward to them being up at Trash Panda Stadium on Tuesday, and I'm assuming you guys will probably try to have Coach Vaughn on to talk about that. But man, the dude has the program going in the right direction. And one more little quick tidbit: do not mock Justin LeBron, or you will pay the piper. Roll Tide, fellas. Enjoy March Madness.
Thank you,
thanks, B. Rich. That does lead into our next thing. We got to get a break in because Roger Hoover is going to join us here. On the flip side, we'll recap that Alabama baseball win over Tennessee last night, plus start looking ahead to Alabama women's basketball. They're getting ready for their run as well. We'll talk a little bit about that and slip in some more stuff with Roger Hoover next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. We are going to be a little bit warmer across the Tennessee Valley, but still below average as far as late March is concerned. Highs only climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. What's most important is the fact that we're going to be warmer as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. Temperatures only dropping into the lower 40s. A mostly sunny sky once again on Saturday. Saturday going to be a beautiful day across the Tennessee Valley. Highs climbing into the mid and upper 60s. A couple of folks could see the lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
One injury wreck. This one's in Limestone County. Nick Davis and Menifee. They called for EMS there. That one originally went out as a no injury. Everything else is in good shape this morning. I don't see any other problems. You be careful on your trip in. Maybe we can keep it that way. Dr. Sandman has the Somnodent, a safe, insurance-approved alternative for snoring and sleep apnea. Dr. Randall Sandlin, 350-CARE. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
By now, you know about Eagle Masonry and Insulation, and maybe you know that Eagle also does landscaping and dirt work. But how about after paint work? Shower doors, shelving, and mirrors, all taken care of by Eagle, the same Eagle that takes care of all your masonry, insulation, and landscaping needs. Eagle brings the same level of expertise to all these disciplines, and they're ready to provide you with a free quote. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Have you ever turned your back on God? Have you ever absolutely known the right thing to do and just turned around and walked away in disobedience? I know that I have. Aren't we thankful for our great and merciful God who loves us and forgives us and remembers our sin no more? I'm so thankful that his mercies are fresh every day. I need that, and I suspect you do too. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church, and if you're looking for a church home, come see us. We're smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, and check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Online at 977ESPN.com.
Stream them online.
Call in.
It's an important job, and it's an important organization.
Tweet in and join in. We are 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
I think it's very light.
All right. There we go. Welcome. We are live on a Friday morning in Madison. They are helping you bring, they are helping us, I should say, bring all of that basketball action you're hearing each day on 97.7 ESPN The Zone from the NCAA tournament. All of it helping us is Metro Diner. We ended that last segment by talking about Alabama baseball. We've previewed a little Alabama basketball as they're getting ready to play today in Cleveland. The Alabama women's team also gearing up for their opener as well on the hardwood.
Yeah, they are, and we are going to talk to the voice of Alabama women's basketball, also of baseball. He wears many different hats for the Crimson Tide Sports Network, but he is with the ladies with the Alabama Crimson Tide as they are in College Park, Maryland. We'll be carrying that game on ESPN 97.7 The Zone tomorrow. The tip-off will be, I believe, at 12:30 Central Time tomorrow, just after around lunchtime. Alabama will be taking the floor against Green Bay. I can't call them Wisconsin Green Bay anymore. They dropped the Wisconsin. But Green Bay will be taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Roger Hoover will be on the call, and he has been kind enough to join us on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline to talk a little Crimson Tide. Ladies, Roger, how you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, guys. Yeah, I'm trying to Green Bay as well. And also, they're the Phoenix It's about a bird, not meat. We got to get ready for that before tomorrow. But we got 24 hours.
Yeah, and it's interesting, Roger, because I was home on March the 11th. I got home around lunchtime, flipping the channels, and I actually did find their game against Indiana, Purdue, Fort Wayne, the finals of the Horizon League. Got a chance to watch quite a bit of Green Bay win their conference championship. That was the top two seeds in that league. I believe Green Bay had also won the regular season title, won the tournament. It's a one-bid league, but a skilled team, a team that shoots a lot of threes, not too big physically, but still a very skilled basketball team that Christy Curry and the ladies will take on tomorrow at 12:30.
Yeah, it's going to take a great game from Alabama defensively to get this win. It all starts with that. I believe offensively the Crimson Tide should be able to play their game, especially in the post. Like you mentioned, the height difference will be glaring for this game. So with that, sophomore forward Esmond Cody has to have one of the best games that she's had this season for Alabama. It's time for her to get a double-double against a team like this. So you look to Alabama and have some advantages there, but then defensively they're going to challenge you. They're going to sprint up and down the floor. They're going to wear you out, very similar to a NATO style of basketball with quick three-pointers or quickly get to the rim, hope to get fouled. It's a remarkable team in the way that they have had one of their top scorers, Natalie McNeil, only standing around 6 feet tall, be their top rebounder. It's 7 per game, averaging 14 points per game. It's a good score. So it's going to be a tall order for Alabama. I think, people always talk about that 12-5 upset in the men's game is so popular. There's usually 1 or 2 in the women's game as well each and every year. So this is what Alabama as a 5 seed has to guard against. And the Maryland fans that are going to be in the building tomorrow, I'm sure they're going to be rooting for Green Bay. So it's going to be definitely a road setting, not just for a potential matchup with Maryland in round 2, but it starts in round 1 because, again, everybody loves the upset and Cinderella story around this time of the year when you get to this point. So I think it's going to take a really good effort from Alabama to make sure they get the win coming up tomorrow and then get ready for Monday.
It's been 16 days since they've played a basketball game. A little bit of a downtime. They played March 6th in the SEC tournament, and now it's it'll be the 22nd when they actually get going. Did that rest come at a good time for Alabama? Did it kind of mend a little wounds a little bit?
I think so. I think the LSU and Oklahoma games where Alabama closed out the regular season, those games were so physical. Those were so tough. Obviously, the LSU game, went into overtime, and that was also emotionally a hard game to move on from because Alabama had been close against the elite teams, the SEC, like South Carolina, LSU, and Texas before, but to move past LSU in the way they did, that was tough to move on from. And then played fine against Oklahoma. Oklahoma on their senior day was kind of a better team and was able to make the key baskets they needed to. And I think it was tough to move on from those 2 games. And Alabama didn't look like itself that next Thursday against the Florida Gators, and still on a really poor shooting night, still came within 2 points winning that game against a team that had played them already twice that season. Alabama defeated already twice that season. That was kind of a recipe for a tough matchup with the Florida Gators on that Thursday in the SEC tournament. So Christy Curry said, the team was able to get off their legs just a little bit, rest up, and then they've had their practice guys back in over the course of this week once spring break ended. So that kind of physical practice is always good, getting you ready for a matchup like this, and then essentially against Maryland in round 2. So it sounds like the rest came at a really good time for this team. And we saw Alabama have a tough exit last year in the SEC tournament in their first-round game against Tennessee, and then really responded well by beating Florida State a couple weeks later, and then going toe-to-toe with Texas, the number 1 seed in their home floor for most of that second-round game. So hopefully something similar can result coming up this year, but it all has to start coming up tomorrow with the win against Green Bay.
Yeah, no question about it, Roger. And this is again, I think it's still a good matchup for Alabama, even though Green Bay is a good rebounding team in their league. As you said, they hit the glass hard, but they're not really big physically. Alabama had a hard time, even though I thought they competed well in Norman, Oklahoma. But the Sooners, the Lady Sooners had a ton of size, a ton of physicality, and that gave Alabama a little bit of a trouble matchup-wise. If Alabama's fortunate enough to win against Green Bay, tell us a little bit about Brenda Freese and Maryland. Again, Maryland has to win as well, but I think we think that the chances of playing Maryland on their home floor are very high. Brenda Freeze, great coach. She won it all in 2006 and has been to 3 Final Fours. She's won nearly 700 games, been the head coach in College Park, and so too. But kind of give us a little bit of a preview. If Alabama's able to win this game and face Maryland, give us a little bit of a thought on the Lady Terps.
Yeah, the little I've learned about them, I kind of go with the coaches one game at a time. But what I've heard is, the only losses they have this year are to really elite teams in the Big Ten, which people probably don't realize how the Big Ten took a huge step forward this year just by adding UCLA and USC alone, two of the best programs in women's college basketball. And so with that, this is a Maryland team that's, like Alabama, very tested against some of the best around the country. So I think it's going to be a physical game for teams. They're always long, and they always rebound extremely well. When we played them a few years ago in San Antonio, people may forget it was around the 32 as well. And it was a player named Angel Reese that had a really good game against Alabama. She was playing for Maryland at the time. It was a superstar when she transferred to play for Kim Mulkey at LSU. But her teams are always well coached, disciplined, and again, they always have size. They always rebound extremely well. So with that, Alabama would certainly have its hands full on Monday. I just hope we get that problem. I hope we get to that point and we see the Christy Curry for the Breeze round 2 in the NCAA tournament.
Christy Curry has done a phenomenal job since arriving at Alabama. She's managed to get a better seed and have Alabama teams get better and better seeds in the tournament. This year it's a 5 seed in the tournament. But now comes the next step, though, right, Roger? They've got to be able to win this game. They've got to be able, if she's going to continue to keep building in the right direction, it does start with a win today.
It really does. And the ultimate motivator for this team, even though Alabama wanted to be in the position to host the first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament in Tuscaloosa, that didn't happen. So now you have to go on the road, where this team's been really good in hostile road environments this year. Find a way to win 2 ball games, and then if you're able to do that, you're able to beat Green Bay and potentially Maryland and even Norfolk State. Even if Norfolk State upsets Maryland, that's a team that gave Alabama really all it could handle in December back at Coleman Coliseum. But if Alabama's able to move on past the second round of the tournament, beating Sweet 16 for the first time since the 90s, you also get to play at Legacy Arena in Birmingham. And I think that is a huge motivating factor for this team, especially one player in particular, Sarah Ashley Barker, because she won 2 state championships playing for Spain Park in that arena. And for her, she knows this is it for her Alabama career. I think some professional basketball is in her future, whether it's in the States or overseas. And for somebody that loves Alabama so much, has meant to this program so much, she wants her career not to end in College Park, Maryland, though. And she really doesn't want to end in Birmingham either, but she wants to have that opportunity to at least play, even if it's a matchup in the Sweet 16 against South Carolina, a team she didn't get to play earlier in the season. This group wants to get back to Birmingham, and it's honestly a rallying cry for SA and Aaliyah Nye and Zay Green, these seniors who know that this is the last chance they're going to get to play for the Crimson Tide. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see if that motivation can carry itself to the hardwood and result in 2 good performances. And then hopefully we're talking about a home game, essentially, in Birmingham coming up next week. But it's a fun time of the year. This group is more prepared for the postseason than I've ever seen. Christy Curry coach basketball team. So, like you said, I feel like it is time to make a move and get to that second weekend.
And, I know they were disappointed, both Alabama and Ole Miss. Both had hoped to host on campus the first 2 rounds. But as soon as I saw, where where they would go if they reached the Sweet 16 for the first time since 1999, I have to believe Coach Curry, while that she was disappointed they didn't get a top 4 seed, quickly she had to be pleased that if they perform well, win in College Park, that they're going to get to go home and be 45 minutes from campus.
Yeah, that would have been the ultimate kind of, screw your head a little bit if you were in Tuscaloosa for the first 2 rounds and then had to go to Spokane, Washington, as opposed to Birmingham for the Sweet 16 and the Elite 8. So I think it works in Alabama's favor. Again, you have to go through some tough times in this tournament on the road, and that's the benefit of winning in the regular season. That's why I think people place such a premium on regular season wins, and it's why fans should pay attention. Not just once we get to SEC play, but look at what happens in non-conference play. These games are really important in determining your fate in the NCAA tournament. So, huge motivating factor. Just try and get to Birmingham. You almost wish there was like a Vulcan statue or something that was in the locker room serving as a motivator. I'll see what it takes for Coach Curry and decide to try and do their part and make that happen next weekend.
Well, you are in Maryland, though, so you better try to get some crab cakes.
Yeah, no, crab is definitely on the menu. I love Old Bay. I love crab. Rob Vaughn, the baseball coach, he had a bunch of recommendations for me. He was formerly the head coach here at the University of Maryland. So I've been checking off one place at a time on Rob Vaughn's to-do list, and was very happy to come back after going to one of his spots last night and watching him beat Tennessee last night. So 4-0 in the SEC. That was a lot of fun.
Well, and I know you've called the majority of the games. I know you were on the call earlier in the week when they had the nice comeback over South Alabama. But this is a really good ball club, Roger. They got a chance now to win a series against the number one team in the country. And for the second straight year, they would have a chance to beat Tennessee in the regular season. They were the only ones to beat them in a series last year in the conference. But in year two for Rob Vaughn, stark improvement. This looks like a really good ball club.
It really does. Even just in the weeks leading up to the season and the late season matchups, just watching them, they're like, this looks different. This looks more like an Omaha caliber baseball team. Even that team last year that ultimately went 0-2 in a regional got off to a good start last year. Non-conference play, beat Tennessee, the only team to do so in the series a year ago, but it just didn't look quite right at times. So both on the mound and with the lineup. This group passes all the eye tests. Justin LeBron is even a year better than what he's been, and then their contributions all over the place. For a fourth-year senior like Will Hodo to be getting these dramatic home runs like he's getting, the grand slam against A&M, the walk-off against Ohio State a few weeks ago in Jacksonville, and then Will Plattner has really emerged as a catcher who can drive in runs after Alabama wasn't getting much from that position offensively to start the year. So really, everywhere you look, there's kind of a new hero for this team, and man, they play with a toughness and grittiness that is really fun to watch. That weekend we just had in College Station was about as fun as any baseball series I've been around with this team in the 5 years that I've been calling their games consistently on radio. So I can't wait to see what's ahead for this group. Hopefully another couple wins against Tennessee and then keep it rolling next weekend against Oklahoma.
Yeah, no doubt. And then finally, real quick, put your analyst hat on. What does Alabama need to do tomorrow to get the big win over Green Bay and advance to Monday to have a chance to go to the Sweet 16 in Birmingham?
I think it starts with Essence Cody. Again, you have the size advantage, so make sure she's able to get her rebounds. She's able to get her points. So, quick offensive rebounds and putbacks for quick, easy baskets. And then I want to get Aaliyah Nye going. She is such a good three-point shooter, obviously the best in school history. She was best in the SEC this year, but there are times where she only takes 4 or 5 attempts per game. I want to see that number go up a little bit. I want to see her kind of find her shot in this gym, have her be comfortable for what could be coming up in round 2 when she's going to face tougher defense. So to me, those are the biggest keys. Obviously, you got to rebound well. You got to make sure you play your best defense against a team that will kind of annoy you at times with how fast they get down the floor, how quick they shoot three-pointers. I think it's a really good way to start this tournament, a matchup like this. But Alabama's star players have got to step up. Really, you can't afford for any of the big three when it comes to Sarah Ashley Barker, Aaliyah Nye, Zay Green, to have an off night in a win-or-go-home situation. So if we can get all of our star players kind of rolling in this first round, then I'll feel really good about the momentum headed towards round 2, hopefully.
Roger, have a great call, man. We look forward to carrying the game on the Crimson Tide Sports Network here on Saturday. But always, you do a great job. We appreciate your time, and have some good food for us.
I definitely will. Really good. I appreciate the great partnership with the Crimson Tide Sports Network, and I look forward to visiting anytime. But thank you for your time. Well done.
Thanks, Roger. Let's get that break in. Wrap up hour 1 from Metro Diner next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a new wreck in Morgan County, 67 south of Brewer High School. I don't think it's an injury type, but it has blockage. And they updated the one at Nick Davis in Menifee in Limestone County to an injury type. Got a couple of traffic signal problems, 20 in Railroad and 20 in Oak in Decatur. Those signals are out completely. The 41st Annual Bloomin' Festival Art, Craft, Music, and Food Festival is April 5th and 6th at St. Bernard in Coleman. It is a top Southeast tourist event with over 150 artists and craftsmen You could win a 25 Buick Encore at the Bloomin' Festival, St. Bernard in Coleman. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
I'm here with Vice President of Mortgage from Bank of Frank Ewing, John Kendall. And John, if you're hearing this commercial right now and you're thinking of getting a new house, boy, oh boy, do you guys have a deal.
We do. It's a grant. $25,000 if you're a veteran, $20,000 if you're not a veteran. This can be used for closing costs, down payments.
Very simple. All you have to do is give Bank of Frank Ewing a call at
256-507-9180.
And how long does this process take?
Oh, it takes just a few minutes, maybe 15, 30 minutes on the phone. We'll send you a link and you fill that out in your own time. We'll approve you.
Who would not want $25,000 for a new house? John Kendall, give them the phone number and online address one more time.
256-507-9180 or at bankoffrankewing.com.
It's Bank of Frank Ewing giving you $25,000 for a new house. Bank of Frank Ewing in Hazel Green is an FDIC insured bank as well as an equal housing lender.
NMLS number 446707.
My name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
Hey, welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, the zone, Scott Tyson, Drew DeArmond. We're live from Metro Diner along Highway 72 in Madison. I know we've been talking a lot of college basketball, and we still will. But one college football note to bring up. We joke all the time about guys getting 6, 7, 8, 9 years of eligibility.
Wow.
John Emery Jr. from LSU announced yesterday he will be coming back next year for his 7th season of football for LSU.
Well, in this case,
he was hurt.
No, and then he's also had academic situations that kept him off the field. One of them was all the fault of y'all, because of course, Roback, a.k.a., Ed Ogeron.
Get you a Hummer.
Screwed him over, and they didn't do a very good job with their academic support of making sure he was eligible.
Right.
And he missed a year for that. And then he's had 2 to 3 season-ending injuries. So
multiple torn ACLs, yeah.
And then last year, he was playing well in game 1 and tore his ACL. So I felt bad for him. Because he was a 5-star talent coming out of high school, and he really looked good last year before he got hurt. So for them to give him another year, and I guess he's staying at LSU. Because
he is staying at LSU, yes.
That's a cool thing. I hope he can have one injury-free year where he can play. And so with all he's been through emotionally with the injuries and having to play for a meathead, I mean, I just, look, all power to him. I hope he can stay healthy and have one good year and lose to Alabama.
Oh, we're about done with hour number 1. 256-576-4977. It's a good time to join the program at the top of the hour of hour number 2. In hour number 2, we'll hear from Nate Oates. He had his press conference yesterday there as the Tide get ready to take on Robert Morris in Cleveland. Remember, you can head to our YouTube page, WZZN TV, We have got the Lipscomb pregame press conference up there with Lenny Acuff. We have Auburn's Bruce Pearl postgame press conference, Kentucky's pregame, Alabama's pregame. We have all kinds of stuff there dealing with the NCAA basketball tournament. All these press conferences going on. You can catch them out right there. Hour 2 of Talking Ball from Metro Diner coming up next.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. AI-powered betting models to help you make sharper picks during March Madness. Free 7-day trial available now at rhythm.com. That's RITHMM.com.
Some of the lines for Friday's NCAA first-round games. Alabama, a 2 seed, is 22.5-point favorite over Robert Morris. 8th-seeded Mississippi State, a 1.5 favorite over 9-seed Baylor. 3-seed Iowa State is a 14.5-point favorite over Lipscomb. Number 12 seed Colorado State, a 1.5 favorite over number 5 Memphis. Duke is a 32.5-point favorite over Mount St. Mary's. Duke, the number 1 seed in the East Regional, while North Carolina, an 11 seed, is a 1.5 favorite over 6 seed Ole Miss. And the Florida Gators, top seed in the West, 28.5-point favorite over Norfolk State. For VSiN.com, I'm Tony Desiri, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
This hour brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic and Spine Center. Online at sportsmedalabama.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
Hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. We are live from one of our favorite spots, all-time favorite spots, Metro Diner along Highway 72 in Madison. Oh, Jonathan's back on the grill. He has been busy all morning.
Is he going to call us on the grill again?
I don't know. He may. Usually he listens. Usually he has his earbuds in.
Yeah, that was awesome. This is Jonathan on line 1. Cooking bacon.
He's been cooking bacon all morning. I tell you what, there is nothing better than about 6:55, like 5 minutes before the show starts, when the bacon smell starts permeating through the air. It is just so fantastic. The pancakes, oh my goodness. I already know. My wife last night, I said, hey, we're live from Metro Diner. And she smartingly said, oh, does that mean it's a Western omelet, no salsa, hash browns, and 2 pancakes? I said, you bet.
That's what your wife said?
Yeah, she knew my order as well.
I was going to say, she knew it just like.
She knew my order exactly what it is. I said, it doesn't change.
I mean,
we came here one time for dinner, and she literally told me, you're not ordering. You have to order something different.
Wow, she wouldn't allow
would not allow me to order.
What were you going to order?
I was going to order the Western omelet, no salsa. Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if you still ate breakfast for dinner here. I mean, you can do that.
You can, and I was going to do that.
All right. So what did you order when she ordered you not to?
I went with, I went with the, no, I went with the meatloaf.
Oh, okay.
The meatloaf is outstanding as well,
I have
by
had
the way.
The shrimp and grits, by the way.
The shrimp and grits is good. But you got to be hungry.
Yeah, I mean, it was big, you know.
You've got to be hungry.
You know, that's...
Same way with the chicken and waffles. If you get the chicken and waffles, you better be hungry.
I ate at this Metro Diner, and I almost had to waddle all the way home, and that was fish and chips. I'm going to tell you something, man.
It is Friday.
Yeah.
It is Friday.
Fish
and
fry
so
Friday.
Fish
Hey,
on Fridays.
Hey, say
They've
that
got
3
you
times
covered.
fast, man.
Fish
Say
on
those
Fridays,
F
fish on Fridays,
Yeah.
fish on Fridays. They got you covered if you want to.
Fish fry Friday.
Fish fry Friday, fish fry Friday, fish fry Friday.
Yeah, there you go.
I am sure they have some kind of fish deal right now, and I'm sure that's probably why they have the shrimp basket or the shrimp deal as well right now here, the shrimp platter here at Metro Diner. Of course, they have all the desserts, and they've got the soups, and they've got everything else. They've got you covered here. 256-576-4977. That's the number to the phone lines if you want to get in on the show. Speaking of gotten you covered, we've got you covered with Alabama basketball later this afternoon here on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. The Tide getting ready to take on Robert Morris. Nate Oates yesterday in Cleveland speaking to the media.
Yeah, we're excited to be here. We obviously played a tough regular season. I think Stephen told me 25 or 33 games been against NCAA tournament teams, and over half of them against top 25 teams. So I think we're battle tested, prepared. Got it. They're all good teams. When you get to the tournament, we got a tough team in Robert Morris that's got a lot of confidence, won a lot of games, they play hard. So, I played them a couple times when I was at Buffalo. Speaking of Buffalo, I've been here in Cleveland a few times. We always had our MAC tournament here, so I love Cleveland. We've had a lot of success in Cleveland. This is a little bit closer to Alabama than Spokane, and we had some good times in Spokane and LA last year. So we're a little closer to home here in Cleveland, but we just got to have a pretty good practice this morning. I think our guys are ready. Mark's obviously been through it before. Jaron's been through it. I think our younger guys, the new guys, are fully aware of what we have to do. And Mark and Jaron have both had real success in the NCAA tournament. They should play off that. They have confidence knowing that we know what we need to do, but we got to go out and do it. So looking forward to playing the game tomorrow. And then, just kind of getting it started. It's a lot of build up to it, and then can't wait to get out there and get started.
That was Nate Oates yesterday ahead of their showdown this afternoon with Robert Morris. And if you look at it, I know we've talked about the Grant Nelson injury. We talked about whether or not he'll play. If he plays, how many minutes would he play? What does it look like there? But you take away that and you look at today's game, the biggest X factor for Alabama to get the win over Robert Morris would be
rebounding. I still say you've got to win the battle of the glass. That's what cost them against Florida the first time and really the second time they played. They got beat on the glass, especially on the offensive boards. You've got to assert your dominance, and Alabama's bigger, longer, and more athletic than Robert Morris, in my opinion. But rebounding is effort. So you have to rebound the basketball. And then I really think Alabama, the last quarter of the regular season or so, has done a better job of protecting the basketball and taking care of it. But they've got to take care of the ball. And then I think, and keep your live ball turnovers down. And then, like I said, man, just attack. I think they've got to attack. I mean, I know people are worried about the 3-point shooting, but to me, it's more just the guard play. The guard play has to be better. And it's not just about 3-point shooting. It's about attacking the rim and forcing the other team and being the aggressor. And I just think Alabama, that's been their key all year. If they've come out strong and playing with physicality and with an edge, then they've played well. When Missouri punched them in the face and built a 12-0 lead, they fought uphill the whole game. They didn't win. When Florida came out, and I thought, in the second half, when it was a 47-45 game, they were in it in Nashville. And they, in the first 5 minutes, kind of took control of that game, pulled away, especially on the getting, a lot of offensive rebounds. I just thought it was a death blow for Alabama. And then I just feel like they overall, I think if they defend hard and they come out playing with a physical edge like they did against Auburn at Auburn even though they didn't finish at Tennessee, I think overall, I think that portends to a good outcome. And Nate Oates has said it himself. I think the offense takes care of itself when you're playing hard on defense because it creates opportunities. And I just think overall the rebounding, the physicality, playing with an edge, and then taking care of the basketball. As long as you don't give the other team open court opportunities and things of that nature, then I think Alabama is going to win and win impressively. If I always come up with a number like, okay, if Alabama hits this point total,
Right.
they're going to be very difficult to beat.
Right.
And against Robert Morris, I still say it's 85 plus. If Alabama is, scoring the basketball, because look, Alabama averages 91. So
Right.
if they're in 85 would be slightly under their average, but if they're at 85 plus, I think they're going to win this game and win it impressively. And quite frankly, if they play at a very high level, I think they're going to score 95 to 100 and win this game by double digits, but they have to come out and take care of business.
All right, the SEC will get things started this morning. It's hard not to when you have 14 teams in the tournament. You're gonna get a lot of those matchups. 11:15 this morning. You do get another 8-9 matchup, and I tell you what. Yesterday, your 8-9 matchups were atrocious. Really, if you looked at it, a lot of them. I mean, that Louisville Creighton matchup was an 8-9 matchup, and it wasn't even. It wasn't even close.
Yeah.
Your other 8-9 matchups yesterday in the first round of the tournament, they were not. They didn't. Usually, those 8-9 matchups can make you sweat a little bit. Gonzaga and Georgia was another 8-9 matchup. That was not even close as well. This morning, the first 8-9 matchup right out of the gate is Mississippi State and Baylor. So the SEC. Again, the SEC again has a chance to showcase what they are and what they've been during the regular season, the best conference in America. Mississippi State will carry the torch at 11:15 in an 8-9 matchup.
And it's as close a point spread as you can get. It's 1.5 point favorite in Mississippi State, and BJ Edgecombe, the freshman for Baylor, is one of the best players in the country, should be a lottery pick. But, Mississippi State's got, a really good roster themselves, led by Josh Hubbard, a really good guard. And this Chris Jans team, the only thing that worries you is it's not as good defensively as a lot of his teams have been, but they can score the ball. I mean, they have no problem putting up 90 if they're shooting the ball well. And Hubbard, as we've all seen, just ask Alabama, he's capable of going for like a 38-point night and looking like Devin Booker. So, I mean, he's a really good player. Keyshawn Murphy from Ramsey High School has had a really good year for them. They're going to probably need him to play well today. But Mississippi State's a good basketball team. Baylor's been a little up and down this year. I've got Mississippi State winning this game and marching on for the SEC, but
they
certainly will
see, don't they? Mississippi State and the conference, they need this 8-9 matchup.
I mean, it would get the day off to a good start. They need Alabama to play well. They need Mississippi State to play well. No doubt about it. I've also got Vanderbilt beating St. Mary's, so we'll see. I mean, we'll see if the Commodores can get that done. St. Mary's is a 4.5 point favorite, and then I've got an Ole Miss putting North Carolina out of their misery.
That's the one I wanted to ask you about.
Team. And surprisingly, UNC right now from the SADSAC League is a 1.5 point favorite over Chris Beard and Ole Miss. And if I were in the Southeastern Conference, I would take that as an insult.
That's what I wanted to ask you because that to me. Now, I know the Mississippi State one is intriguing because it's an 8-9 matchup. Mm-hmm. The SEC got 14 teams in. Some say, well, they didn't deserve 14 teams. You're always going to get that from people that don't really know basketball. They don't pay attention to the regular season because, it's the SEC fatigue. Well, a lot of people didn't believe North Carolina belonged in the tournament. North Carolina goes out in the first four. They look dynamic, but we said that after the win, hold on. They were dynamic in quad 2 games all year. They were 8-0. That was a quad 2 win the other night for North Carolina. That was not an impressive win for the Tar Heels because they had done that during the regular season. Ole Miss is a quad 1 game. North Carolina was 1-12 in quad 1 games this season. Everything about this game says Ole Miss should win it. If North Carolina somehow finds a way to beat Ole Miss, is that an embarrassment for the conference?
No, I mean, it's still North Carolina across the jerseys, but I would rather just, leave them with Duke and nothing, just so Danny Cannell could just rot. To be honest with you. I hope he had a good day yesterday watching his SADSAC League choke because that's basically what happened. And it would nothing would please me more than to see the Duke Blue Devils be the last team standing while the JV's all at home.
Oh, poor Danny Cannell.
Mm-hmm.
His last tweet. Did you see this?
I don't really try to look at his Twitter account or X/X, to be honest with you.
So,
I'd rather be intelligent.
Well, this might make you happy,
right?
Okay. His last tweet says, "Shopping for auto insurance is tons of fun with two teenage drivers."
Yeah.
The amount that Danny Cannell put on his Twitter page, $2,803 per month.
Well, did you notice he's not tweeting about the ACC and the basketball tournament?
He has not
yesterday?
tweeted anything out about anything of the results yesterday. Nothing.
Because after today, hopefully it'll be a lone wolf, and that'll be it,
His last tweet on March 17th that was basketball related says, I quote, "SEC fanboys still upset about UNC getting in, even though they got an absurd 14 teams in. Tells you everything you need to know about the inferiority complex."
Well, I mean, the inferiority is when you lose to Western Union in the first round and your team. And I did get a text from a basketball guy yesterday that said, don't forget that Clemson lost to South Carolina. So there you go. And so they went home, and then Louisville, who was at home, Scott, was going to give Auburn a tough game with that home.
That's why you don't look ahead, right?
Right.
You look at
Don't
each
assume
round and
anything.
each game.
So just because you got the home crowd doesn't mean you're going to play very well. And Louisville did not. And Pat Kelsey did a great job, but, deserves to be ACC Coach of the Year, even though John Shire's done a well of a job too. But, I mean, considering where that Louisville program was when he took it over, when Kenny, I can't coach Lick Payne, got fired after 2 years.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, but again, it is what it is. I think the SEC had a pretty good first day. And as you said, it would be big for the league if Mississippi State could knock out a Baylor, and Scott Drew's got a great pedigree and outstanding coach. And then if Ole Miss could knock out the vaunted North Carolina Tar Heels. And,
we still think, and when I say we, people that follow college basketball a lot, still look at the Big Ten as a really good basketball conference, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Big Ten was the one that gets the most teams in usually. The Big Ten is the one in the last couple of seasons they've gotten the most teams in, but they have yet to win one since Michigan State
in 2000.
In 2000.
Mm-hmm.
But yet we still look at the Big Ten as a premier basketball conference. If the SEC doesn't win it this year, I don't think we look at them as any less of a conference. It just tarnishes probably the 14 teams a little bit getting in. I mean,
we'll
still
see.
think the Big Ten is really good.
I mean, if the SEC can win the national championship for the first time since Kentucky in 2012, and if they can, get multiple teams in the Final Four, then I think that'll make a huge statement. And that'll be the bottom line, and that'll be the end result. But we'll see. Certainly, it was nice to see Arkansas send overrated Kansas to the house as well.
That was always loved that one.
I mean, Kansas was the number one team in the country. They spent more money than just about anybody, and I kept thinking last night when they couldn't make a shot, like how much per missed shot did they spend?
Well, I tell you what, if you want to spend a little bit of money for breakfast, come on out to Metro Diner along Highway 72 in Madison. The grill is open, the bacon is cooking, the sausage is there, the biscuits and gravy are good. We'll get a break in.
Yeah, and before we go to break, though, I got to tell you a quick story that was funny yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm at Circle K getting a drink, and as you know, anybody that watched the show yesterday or heard me on the show, I was paying homage to our good friend Lenny Acuff, who was kind enough to join us to kick off
you were
the
wearing
show.
Bison's
We
gear.
were all Bison yesterday. I was very excited and still excited today for Lenny's opportunity, and I've got them winning in a first-round upset over your favorite team, Iowa State. And I'm getting my drink, and then a gentleman who was also partaking in some beverages over at Circle K was like, "So you think the Bison's got a chance?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm super excited for Lenny Acuff." And then unwarranted, the guy goes, "Man, I sure hope Troy wins."
Oh, who does Troy have coming up in their first round matchup? We'll fill you in after the break. We're live from Metro Diner.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had an injury wreck in Limestone County, Nick Davis Road and Menifee Road. And we got one in Morgan County, 67 south of Brewer High School. That one reported as a no injury. Got a power outage in Decatur. Got some traffic signals. Wilson and Railroad and Wilson and Oak are reported as being out. And we picked up a new wreck now in the 100 block of Pine Grove Road. That one looks like an injury type, although they just canceled HIMSI on it. With more than 30 years experience, D&L Refrigeration can save you money on those heating and air conditioning repairs. 256-652-1207. State license 08091. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
Forgiveness. Wow, what a word. What a gift. All of us have done things in our lives that we regret. All of us have done things that are disobedient. All of us have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Thank God for his forgiveness. Thank God that he separates our sins as far as the east is from the west and remembers them no more. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor at Cross Point Church, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison. Check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Let's talk about the X's and O's of family entertainment. Every parent in Alabama knows the importance of being able to draw up an activity that'll get you out of the house for a couple of hours. But it needs to be affordable. It needs to be family friendly. Above all, it needs to be fun. Now, let's talk about high school sports. Bang for your buck, school sports provide the perfect game plan for your family. You'll enjoy all of the drama and excitement competitive sports offer. You'll be supporting the future leaders of our community in a meaningful way. Best of all, you can take the entire family without breaking the bank. Heck, you won't even dent it. Now, enough chalk talk. Let's get out there and see what's playing at the high school in your community. School sports. Good for our kids, good for our community. This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia if you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
We are your home for March Madness.
In the corner, James, right corner three, got it. Oh, it's a Tennessee blitz. The Volunteers dominating the Creighton Blue Jays in the second half.
We are 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Oh, welcome back, Talking Ball. On a Friday morning.
Yes, sir.
You know what? Before we get to basketball, he's not listening.
Yeah.
But I do. It's a big moment in our household tomorrow.
Yeah, saw that.
Huge moment in our household tomorrow.
Saw your wife post that on Facebook.
My son has had a dream of being able to run one track meet inside Hayward Field, and
Which
Hayward
is Camelot in the track verse.
Yeah, that is the Taj Mahal, and it's where they host the Olympic trials. It's got 25,000 seats. I mean, it's a ginormous venue.
Built by Phil Knight.
Yeah, it's remarkable up there in Eugene. I mean, it's anything. He had to have a qualifying time, and he was nervous all week because he didn't think it was going to be fast enough, but he did get in. They took the top 32 that wanted to go to this meet. They took the top 32 for the 800. He made it in at number 32. I mean, he just makes it in. But he's going to be running against Division I guys. And he's going to be running and all this stuff. But he made it in the Oregon. They call it the Oregon Preview. He is going to be running inside there of Hayward Field tomorrow. And so it is a huge, huge moment in our house. And could not be more proud, could not be happy.
And you met his coach last week.
He met his coaching staff last week up there in Indianapolis, up there at the swimming. Cool. I did venture over to the track and field for a day, and I got to meet his coaches and say hi to them. It's tough when he's out in Oregon. I don't get to see them a lot. I don't get to see them a ton. But this was a meet too. He wanted us to fly out there because he thought maybe he could make it. He wanted to see it, but we're going to watch it live. They've got it live, so we'll be able to watch it tomorrow. But man, I just wanted to say, King, I know he's not even up. Heck, I'd call him right now, and it'd be 6:30 in the morning. We would get a.
Well,
but anyway, yes.
I did see that, and again,
I was happy for him.
A lot of people, especially the younger generation, probably doesn't really understand the fact that the company, the Nike, the first preface was running shoes, the track and field area. It wasn't basketball, it wasn't baseball, it wasn't how they've taken over the world.
It was track and field.
It was totally Steve Prefontaine, and the running community.
And when he was in Coos Bay for 2 years there at junior college, that is Steve Prefontaine's hometown.
Wow!
And you drive down Coos Bay, and there's murals of Steve Prefontaine on the walls downtown Coos Bay. So there's running trails for that you can actually run on the Steve Prefontaine running trail that he used to run for practice all the time out there. I don't know. I know a lot more about it now than what I did 2 years ago. I'll just tell you that. But anyway, coming up,
know a little bit. Hell, I hadn't run in 25 years.
Oh, but baby, we could sure throw down at Metro Diner, can't we?
Yeah, we got a friend Freddie Kirby here too. He's been listening.
Yeah. Anyway,
gentleman in here is waiting for Jeff to call. I don't think Jeff's going to call.
The reason why he may be waiting for Jeff to call is the fact that before the break we said you ran into a basketball enthusiast, and said he just hopes Troy wins today.
And I didn't ask him that. This was not set up.
And the reason is because Troy is playing Kentucky tonight at 6:10, by the way, on CBS. Kentucky is an 11.5-point favorite. And a rather strange moment yesterday there for Kentucky practice. Rather strange moment for that Midwest region there in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Mark Pope asked the crowd to be. Now you can go in and you can watch a lot of these practices, right? So Mark Pope asked the crowd to be quiet.
Right.
He wanted total silence when his teams were practicing free throws yesterday.
Okay.
Wanted it totally silent.
Well, he doesn't like people asking questions either because he gives you like one answer. So I quit asking. I mean, he's a nice guy. He's a good basketball coach, but it was Bush League the way he answered questions.
Right.
Yeah. So he doesn't like answering a lot of questions. And so he's nice to the fans, and I think he's a little quirky. Good coach. He's done a really good job in year one over there in Lexington. We'll see how he continues to build it, but I'm sure, and the Big Blue Nation's very enthusiastic. So I'm sure they've traveled well. I'm sure they probably have the most people at the practice, and go Trojans.
Go Trojans. The other game that we are going to have our eyes kind of peeled to, and it's another 8-9 matchup. And boy, I tell you what, when the last 2 years when they were winning all the antics, everybody was falling in love with them. They were, oh my gosh, Dan Hurley, this is great. Dan Hurley has a rough year. He stays with the same antics, and people are kind of like scratching their heads going, oh my gosh, what is this? But it's an 8-9 matchup, and it's an 8-9 matchup for the SEC, and that's UConn and Oklahoma.
Well, I mean, it's all going to come down to the guard play for the Sooners, led by Jeremy Fears, who's a future lottery pick. Can they knock out a two-time national champion? I think they've got a good shot. I think they match up well. I know our good friend David Sisk, who's joined us throughout this process, he was telling me in Nashville that he felt like this was a bad matchup for UConn.
Bad matchup for UConn.
Yeah, he felt like the guard play for Oklahoma was going to really give the Huskies some problems. UConn is a 5.5-point favorite, but he just felt like that three-headed monster at guard, Jeremy Fears, Duke Miles, and those guys were going to give UConn some big problems. So we'll see. Certainly, it's going to be a very interesting matchup, and that will be a night one tonight. That'll be 8:25 Central Time.
Yeah, you have to stay up a little bit.
So we'll see, but I believe I took UConn in the matchup. So I wasn't a complete homer here. We'll see.
I tell you what, yesterday on the Roku stick, I pulled up the March Madness app.
Yeah,
and they have this thing, and the commentators were okay on it. But basically it's just a whip around coverage, and they just kind of drop in on all of the games that are going on. And they kind of analyze it. Former coach of Memphis and Georgia Tech. What's his name?
Josh Pastner.
Josh Pastner. Yeah, he's part of it. It's not bad, but it was interesting because I could just watch all of the games at once. They just kind of took you around and let you watch all of them. I didn't have to keep turning the channel all day long, but it was a fun day yesterday, and it'll be another fun day today on the NCAA tournament hardwood. We do got to get a break in. Now, I can tell you this. The Auburn Tigers, they will play on Saturday, and in case you have not seen it, we do know now the tip-off times, and we know the network that Auburn will be playing on Saturday. They will be playing at 6:10. The Auburn-Creighton game will come your way Saturday at 6:10, and it will be on TBS/True TV. It will not be on CBS on Saturday. That is a 6:10 game. And the Tennessee and UCLA game will be an 8:40 tip from Lexington, and that also will be on TBS and True TV. Those are your Saturday tip-off times. Let's get a break in. When we come back, Nathan King will join us. We'll recap Auburn's win on the hardwood last night and look ahead to Saturday and maybe spring football and maybe some Auburn baseball as well. All that and more next.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Storton Dressman. A mostly to partly sunny sky this afternoon. We are going to be a little bit warmer across the Tennessee Valley, but still below average as far as late March is concerned. Highs only climbing into the upper 50s and lower 60s. What's most important is the fact that we're going to be warmer as we head into the overnight, early into your Saturday morning. Temperatures only dropping into the lower 40s. A mostly sunny sky once again on Saturday. Saturday going to be a beautiful day across the Tennessee Valley. Highs climbing into the mid and upper 60s. A couple of folks could see the lower 70s. I'm Chief Meteorologist Storton Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had a wreck with injuries at California and Tunlaw, but it looks like they canceled Himsey on it. 100 block of Pine Grove Road also reported injury, but it also had EMS canceled. Still may be working on one in Morgan County, 67 south of Brewer High School. No injury, but there was blockage there. RESPECT is coming. Shoal Scholar Dollars is bringing the celebration of the music of Aretha Franklin to UNA on Monday, March 31st. Tickets at shoalscholardollars.com. Captain Nick in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
We aren't a winning school. We are a championship school, and we make legends. Join the Crimson Tide as they look to continue to rise to the top of the NCAA basketball mountain. Every game, all season, right here on your home for Alabama basketball, the Crimson Tide Sports Network from Learfield.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
The best in local sports talk from the 256. We are local.
When you're number one, you don't have to worry.
We are award-winning. Thank you for listening. 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You'll be set for life.
Everybody. If you're in the game.
Woo! Yeah, speaking of it.
Baby, come to here. It's time.
I'm going to take this interview over.
No, you're not. I'm going to have this going. I've done this millions of times.
You're going to talk and eat?
Why not? These pancakes, look, these pancakes can't even fit on the plate.
I'm taking a picture of this. These pancakes are
Those are big
pancakes.
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 Good Lord.
Yeah, I just took a picture of that.
I've had pancakes from here, but these are the best.
We're probably making Nathan King, I've
got to take a picture of these things.
I mean,
these pancakes are ginormous.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, seriously, there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
Wow. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
we're here at Metro Diner along Highway 72. The Auburn Tigers are in Lexington, Kentucky. Look, Bruce Pearl and we're eating Metro Diner.
Right.
On Wednesday night, Bruce Pearl had Jeff Ruby's.
Okay. Well.
So, I mean, Jeff Ruby's is really good as well. But they found a way yesterday to get it done against Alabama State. Started off kind of slow. Once they engaged fully, and put their foot down in the second half, valued the possessions like Bruce Pearl said, things got much better.
They did, and we're honored to be joined by 24/7 Sports and Auburn Undercover's Nathan King as he is live. We're covering the Auburn Tigers in the NCAA tournament, and of course they played in Lexington yesterday and played really well. He was back in Rupp Arena. Miles Kelly was too, and boy, he seems to love shooting there. But we're going to talk some Auburn Tigers in the NCAA tournament now live with him. And I did send him a picture to prove that you're eating manhole cover size.
Oh, these things are ginormous.
But we appreciate Nathan King for taking the time out of his busy schedule to join us. Nathan, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Yeah, that picture just came through. You guys are making me. All I've had is coffee so far this morning, so you guys are making me very jealous.
That there, bud. I know you'll be able to get something to eat after you finish up with us, but certainly the Auburn Tigers, not the start Bruce Pearl wanted the first 15 minutes or so. Kind of, the energy level maybe not where he wanted it to be. It was a 1-point game, then a 2-point game. But I did think the last 5 minutes of the half and then the first 5 minutes of the second half were where Auburn kind of asserted its dominance. But as you wrote for 24/7 Sports, the intensity level and the execution has got to improve.
Yeah, it's funny. If you would just glance at the score of this game, if you're if you didn't catch it live and you're checking through your bracket, you probably see a 20-point win by Auburn and say, they probably messed around for a little bit, but ultimately took care of business. And that's true. I think that did happen. I think that's all accurate. But as you guys read, and as you guys were just talking about, it's become a bit of a concerning theme. And Bruce Pearl is no longer willing to downplay it. He was obviously very, very animated and adamant about it after the game. I don't know if you guys heard the radio interview with Stephen Pearl after the game, Auburn's assistant coach, but not holding anything back. Not holding anything back when it comes to. He called out two guys in particular. He said our two best players have to be better. Talking about Janai Broome and Chad Baker-Mazara. And just the messaging from him, from Auburn's leadership, from Dylan Cardwell, from Bruce Pearl was, if Auburn doesn't play better than this on Saturday, they are absolutely going to get beat by a Creighton team that looked really, really good. So, Auburn did a lot of good things in this game, as we were kind of talking about yesterday. Like, they built that lead at the beginning. You don't win by 20 points on accident. And so, they did a lot of good things in the game, but just, a lot of concerns for this ball club in terms of things that don't really have anything to do with basketball, just in terms of effort and energy on the court. And as we've come to learn from a Bruce Pearl team, effort and energy are what define what they do on both ends of the floor. So they've obviously got to get that figured out.
Yeah, and you mentioned the effort. You mentioned all that. I thought in the first half, and I know they called out Janai Broome, I thought in the first half, Janai Broome got outplayed, and I thought he just kind of looked like his body language was just kind of like, you know what, if I want to turn it on, I can turn it on. I'll figure it out. But I thought he just kind of, the body language from Janai Broome yesterday in the first half, to me, was kind of concerning.
No, body language all over. I would think the entire team body language was bad. I don't think it's bad to say that. I don't think it's, I don't think it's taboo to say that. I think everybody has gotten to this point where, they're referencing it, they're talking about it, and it's certainly a major concern right now. Look, you need Janai Broome to be more physically assertive. At the same time, you talk about the defense Alabama State was playing, sending a lot of double teams. It was fast and furious. Like, they were absolutely saying, you are not going to beat us, Janai Broome. Somebody else is going to have to beat us. Credit where credit is due. Like you don't end up in a game like that unless Alabama State plays pretty decently. I thought for a lot of the first half, Alabama State played pretty well. I thought their defensive game plan was really, really good, sending kind of a zone pressure defense and then double teaming Janai Broome. And so making other guys beat him. And look, other than Miles Kelly, other guys weren't beating him. And then second half, Auburn started playing better on defense, started turning those long rebounds into transition opportunities, and that just pretty much broke the game wide open. And so, but again, it's gonna take a lot from this entire lineup against Creighton, as you guys saw yesterday. That was one of the winners of day one of the tournament. Like, that team looked incredible, and so we'll have to see Auburn respond.
Yeah, and they've got Kalkbrenner. They've got some size. Their guard play was really good, and they're veteran guards. And the interesting part was how transparent both players and coaches were. When I know you had a chance to talk with those guys in the locker room, basically saying they're having some internal issues. I was a little bit surprised they were that frank about it, but again, you put it out there, and hopefully you have almost 2 full days to deal with it, because again, you had most of the day yesterday, all day today, and then tomorrow before you play on Saturday night. But some very frank comments from everyone around the program, Nathan.
I think it's going to be a really interesting next 24 to 36 hours, like Stephen Pearl talked about. They'll be back in Rupp Arena, so we will get to talk to them today. I'm really interested to talk to Janai Broome and Chad Baker-Mazara. Like, hey guys, did you hear what your assistant coach had to say? What do you think about that? I think it's just we've had several games now of this team saying, the end of the regular season that really lit a fire under them. The SEC tournament was a good reset button, and this team's really ticked off about the way they're playing. People are counting them out as the number 1 overall seed, so that's really ticked them off. Nothing from any of that. Nothing that is good enough to win any sort of championship. And so you've got to wonder about how they're going to respond on Saturday. Look, this team's better than Creighton. That's obvious, right? If they go in and they play their best game, I think Auburn has to play at least a B+ game in order to beat Creighton on Saturday. Now, Creighton could be a juggernaut. We just don't know these things until you get done with the tournament. it takes a lot to shoot 46% from three. And I was in that building yesterday. That was a Louisville home game. Make zero mistake.
Yes,
it
we
was
talked about that.
absolutely
Yep.
a Louisville home game. I mean,
Right.
super loud crowd. This is the loudest crowds I've seen all season, like regardless of venue. And it was supposed to be a neutral site. And Creighton went in there and played like that. You mentioned Ryan Kalkbrenner, first-team All-American versus second-team All-American. This dude is the 4-time Big East Defensive Player of the Year. Like, it's going to be a really, really good matchup with him and Janai Broom. Auburn absolutely has to bring their A game. I know people were worried about going against Louisville and saying,
Right.
oh, well, that's kind of a bad draw because of where it is. Auburn would have matched up much better against Louisville. Now, how many points is the crowd worth? How many points is the crowd worth when you have been kind of struggling as a team and maybe that starts to go against your direction? At the same time, Janai Broom had said and made an interesting point yesterday. He said the gym was kind of flat. And it was. Once Louisville fans left, there weren't a lot of Auburn fans there. I would say most of the people there were just basketball fans. It was people from either other teams or people just in town. And so those people were inclined to cheer for Alabama State. So Auburn didn't really have anybody cheering for them, and it was kind of a flat beginning of the game. You wonder if the energy will be a little bit better on Saturday. I think at the end of the day, Auburn does match up pretty well. Stephen Ashworth is a fantastic point guard for Creighton. Denver Jones obviously has been a fantastic defensive player there for Auburn all season. Jemiah Neal was incredible against Louisville. It would be really big if Auburn can have Chris Moore. I think that's kind of an underrated storyline here. One of their best defensive players at that 3 spot to go against a guy like Jemiah Neal. And it's like, hey, your job is to go play defense. We saw him in the locker room yesterday. He said that ankle was still bothering him. And so it's going to be a big defensive out for Chad Baker-Mazara. So really, really big next 24 hours. I hate to overplay it and be hyperbolic about it because I don't think people are overreacting. I think because Bruce Pearl put it out in the open, you are allowed to sit here and talk about it. But I don't think it's exaggerative to say this is the most important day of the season right here for Auburn. This day right here on Friday, getting ready, responding from that challenge from your coaching staff, and scouting what is a really, really good team in Creighton. If they do all those things well that I just said, they'll be moving on to the Sweet 16. And if they don't, like they've been worried about, they'll have played some of their not as good basketball, some of their worst basketball toward the end of the season here. And man, they'll really be looking back and wondering what if.
Chaney Johnson had been in a slump. It's the last few games. He's the production, the movement on the floor, the productivity, all kind of took a dip. It was good to see him, and because of the injury yesterday, I think he got a little bit more time on the floor, but it was good to see Chaney kind of get back to doing some of the Chaney Johnson stuff.
Absolutely. He had just been kind of, honestly, he'd been a little snake bitten the last few games when you look at those opportunities he had on the inside. Getting putbacks, being able to put up little hook shots, and they just weren't going for him. It just wasn't working for Chaney Johnson, and so he finally got some of those to go. You listen to Stephen Pearl after the game, and he said that his message to Chaney beforehand was like, hey, do what you want to do. Do what you're comfortable doing. And Stephen kind of joked and said, if it's turnaround fadeaway jump shots that you probably don't want you to take, just take them. If that's the shot that you want, because if Chaney's not out there playing comfortably, like everyone else on this team, for that matter, he's not going to be doing a good job. And so, again, among the positives for this team, because you can't win a 20-point game in the NCAA tournament without there being some positives. It's not like it's completely the end of the world. Among the positives was the fact that the bench played really well. And Todd Pettiford, we knew that wasn't going to last for long. Now, again, it's Alabama State. It's on paper the worst team Auburn's seen all season. But Todd Pettiford, we knew that performance against Tennessee was an outlier. We know he's been much better than that this season. And so he goes out and has a nice game. I believe 16 points and 5 assists for him. Him and Chaney Johnson were kind of the sparks that got Auburn back into it and got them back out to a comfortable lead. Because like we've been talking about, Auburn's starters didn't really show up in a big way in this game. And obviously that has to be the case against a Creighton team that, man, they can just beat you a lot of different ways. They can shoot the 3 ball really well. I was really impressed with how they just cut off Louisville's water with number 1 defense and number 2 just rebounding, ending possessions right away, and then obviously just feeding the ball to Kalkbrenner. Their high screen and roll stuff is going to remind you a lot of what Auburn did with Walker Kessler a few years ago. It's just really, really difficult to defend. At the same time, Auburn has great perimeter bigs in Janai Broom and Dylan Cardwell. They've done it really well all season. Can they continue to do it on Saturday?
Well, and then I thought too, it's obvious Miles Kelly loves to shoot in Rep Arena.
Oh, absolutely. So I guess now, what does he have? 16 threes in his in his 2 games in Rupp Arena this month. I mean, it's just ridiculous. You could tell he had that spark early on, and he was obviously feeling really good. That is, I mean, look, that's the reason they weren't losing in the first half. I mean, Alabama State had that big run, and the fact that Miles Kelly had 4 early 3-pointers obviously made a big difference for them, and then obviously 12 early points. I think it's 15 points in the first half. Overall, finished with 23 for the game. He tied Bryce Brown's NCAA tournament record at Auburn with 7 made threes. And some of his teammates were joking afterwards. It was like, yeah, they were kind of slow playing late on, like Auburn was, just kind of like, running stuff slowly, ready to get out of there. And Denver Jones said, look, man, if we'd kept running stuff, we could have got him that record. I don't think anybody realized how close he was. They kind of took the foot off the gas up 20 points. But he was absolutely, I think he was their best player yesterday. They need to continue to shoot well from 3 because you look at their last 3 games now, they're shooting 30% from deep over their last 3 games. They shot 29% in Nashville. Only with that performance from Miles Kelly, they still only shot 31% from deep. And so I know that that's kind of a simple fix, right? Like everyone would love to shoot better from 3, but shot making masks a lot of other issues. If you're having troubles, here and there with your team and you're feeling like there are some deficiencies at various spots, get out there and shoot the leather off the ball, and that's going to cover up a lot of things. I think Auburn has to get off to a fast start against Creighton. I really, really do. Because, again, like you said, the body language hasn't been great. Guys are just kind of frustrated and groaning yesterday. Again, I usually am not one to, pay attention to any of that stuff or think it really matters. But when the coaches are willing to talk about it so much, then yeah, it kind of opens the door to say, okay, maybe it does matter. You don't want to put yourself in that situation again. You don't want to put yourself where Bruce Pearl's calling an early timeout and guys are kind of throwing their hands up on the bench and wondering why stuff isn't working. I think, and we saw Auburn do it all season long. They did it in Tuscaloosa. They did it in Lexington. They did it throughout non-conference play. These really strong runs to open up games. They did it in Cameron Indoor Stadium. This team knows how to start off a game. I think that early offensive execution from them is going to be really, really key. And as you guys know, it will involve Miles Kelly. He usually takes one of the first 2 shots of the game. If he can get one of those to go early on, honestly, I think it's going to make a big difference for the team because they need some confidence right now.
Nathan, they got to make a free throw.
Yeah, the free
what
throws,
do we do?
I know that was bothering Bruce Pearl yesterday.
They've got to make a free throw.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Bruce said it yesterday. Not looking at the percentage, you make 18 free throws and you miss 14. Those numbers are too similar. You can't be having that. And you go back to Nashville, and they didn't. This team's just not shooting the ball well. They are doing some crafty things on offense. Janai Broom continues to shoot. He's shooting a high percentage right now when he is able to get the ball in his hands and able to put it up. He is shooting a really good percentage. Miles Kelly's shooting it well from beyond the arc. Other than that, open looks from 3 and from free, as Bruce Pearl likes to say, it's not working for him right now. I mean, they've just got to start seeing it go into the hoop. Bruce Pearl wondered whether that's going to catch up to them at some point. You think about a game against Creighton that figures to be really close. I mean, what is it? It's 9.5 in favor of Auburn right now. I think it opened at 10.5. I wouldn't be surprised if it continues to come down. That is going to be a close game, I would imagine. And look, free throws burned Auburn really badly against Tennessee. They burned Auburn against Alabama. I don't know if you guys remember toward the end of that game, Todd Pettiford, who's been a great free throw shooter all year, had a 1-for-3 trip at the foul line. Late in that game, a game that ended up tied and goes to overtime. And so, they've just had a lot of missed opportunities. Just little things here and there that begin to pile up. And we talked about the negative trends for this team. That's one of them is free throw shooting. And it was a few games ago, you can kind of brush it off because you've won a bunch of games and you haven't lost a bunch. Now you're sitting here not playing as well. You can't brush off that trend anymore. It's obviously something that's become a problem for them.
Well, great job. Great coverage from Lexington. Yep. And I know you're going to have some more today as Auburn will speak to the media, but let everybody know how to follow you. And, of course, go get you some good breakfast now before these press conferences. But we really appreciate the time. Let everybody know how to follow your work.
Yeah, for sure. AuburnUndercover.com. We had a Had a great day yesterday. NCAA tournament is always as you guys know, it's a dream come true. It's a really fun event to cover, no matter what team you are, no matter where you are. And so, going to continue to work our hardest. We're running a promo right now. If you're an Auburn fan listening to this, and you can't get enough basketball, and if you want to get in before spring football gets rolling and before recruiting gets rolling again, you can try us your first month for only $1. See how you like it, or you can do 50% off a year. So I encourage everybody. If you're not a subscriber and you've been thinking about it, go over to auburnundercover.com and check us out.
Thank you,
Spring
Nathan.
football's
Appreciate
Monday,
it.
right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Spring Pro Day is Monday at Auburn.
Okay.
Spring football will begin in earnest on Tuesday. They actually have already started. Fun fact. They're just doing like walkthrough stuff this week. But Hugh Freeze actually is going to use those full 15. Previously, they actually would only use the 12 if they would have started on Tuesday. But he was like, you might as well. And so they're not really doing full practices this week. They're just kind of doing some walkthrough stuff so they can kind of get rolling at a faster pace on Tuesday.
Awesome.
Good
there
stuff,
you go.
man. Thank
Thanks,
you,
Nathan.
Thank y'all.
All right, let's get that break in.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Had a wreck with injuries at California and Tunlaw, but it looks like they canceled Himsey on it. 100 block of Pine Grove Road also reported injury, but it also had EMS canceled. Still may be working on one in Morgan County, 67 south of Brewer High School. No injury, but there was blockage there. RESPECT is coming. Shoal Scholar Dollars is bringing the celebration of the music of Aretha Franklin to UNA on Monday, March 31st. Tickets at shoalscholardollars.com. Captain Eck in the Valley Skywatch Traffic Center.
Specializing in simple and affordable rentals, McCurry Van and Car Rental can make sure you have just the right vehicle for your next family vacation, weekend getaway, or if you just need transportation while your vehicle is being repaired. McCurry carries Ford Transit vans and Mercedes Sprinter vans, trucks and work vans, and more. And they offer discounted rental rates for long-term rentals. Now with 4 locations: Athens, Muscle Shoals, Coleman, and Huntsville. Log on McCurryRentals.com to make your reservation now. That's McCurryRentals.com.
If hunting and outdoor recreation are your passions, it all starts with the right property. That's where I come in. I am Bo Butler with Southland Realty and Auction, a hunting and recreational land specialist and a Jackson County native who sees land through a hunter's eyes. Just as you trust your guide on a big game hunt, you can trust me to find the perfect property for you. Thinking of selling? Let me help you make your land attract buyers. Remember, Bo knows land. Call me at 256-609-0512.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on
I'm finishing it up.
He's finishing the manhole covers.
The 2 pancakes that are, those sons of guns were huge.
Yeah, don't forget Alabama women's basketball tomorrow at 12:30. We'll have that here on 97.7 The Zone, WCZN Talk Radio. They will be playing Green Bay. We'll also have Alabama basketball on our airwaves today at 11:40 a.m. Alabama taking on Robert Morris. Chris Stewart, Brian Pat's going to call March Madness all day on 97.7 The Zone, Scott.
Big thank you to Metro Diner, Jonathan and company for taking care of us this morning. Don't forget, you can find them $50 worth of food for $25 to Metro Diner. Check out Zone Deals at our webpage, Facebook page. Click. Got a lot of great places.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965.